Jerry Kirby was Paul Kayard's bowman back in 1987 on Sidewinder when they raced maxi boats together. Now he's halfway up the mast on the other boat.
330. Just below the forward white line. 320.
El Moro forced to tack away here.
Because?
Interesting situation, Jim. They're getting the current pushing them down. They're getting down below the lay line for the left-hand end. So he wanted to gain some distance back upwind. 2 quick tacks.
The Italians had major problems with the current way back in race 1. Robert Hopkins on board misjudged the current by a full half knot. Kayard over the line early. Which end of the starting line is favored to your eye, Peter?
Jim, it looks like the right-hand end may be favored, but we think the left side of the course may hold better wind and a shift up the course, so it's a balance here.
Now, if America Cube gets in trouble, it's simple. They just tack away.
230.
That was a risky move by Kayard going in below America Cube, because I pointed out there is current here. They're in danger of not being able to make it to that mark on this starboard tack.
Peter, something else to point out now with Kirby up the mast, there's nobody on the bow of America Cube doing the signals like Morani is for the Italians.
Good point. Good point, Jim. And Kirby has just made it back down the mast and assumed the position on the bow.
The current setting the 2 boats to the right side of the screen here. Looks like they're going to get swept past the mark, Peter.
It looks very, very close, Gary. I like America Cube's position.
All America Cube has to do is sit there and wait. Kayard's tacking away now. It's his last desperation move, but he's got some trouble.
Well, a bit of a mistake by Dellenbaugh. He could have prevented that tack, but instead he sailed forward, allowing El Moro to be able to tack clear. Now El Moro will be able to cross the line easily.
The big question for El Moro is, can she get across the line on the port tack? Is she below the lay line from this position?
110.
No problem. They can easily cross the line from where they are here. Just like Thursday, the boat in trouble. This time El Moro was able to wriggle off the hook with 1:30 to go, and now they hold a favored position.
We're not going to have it. Take low to it, so we can high. Nice to see you more than 7. That's the only good thing. Okay, Penny Vodka.
Get up to full speed. Kayard makes his move first, and he'll be going faster when the gun goes off.
Go down below the line. 20. 17. 14. 13. 4, 3, 2, 1, gun.
Another clean start and another good job by Dellenbaugh.
Conservative on the part of America Cube, and they're going a little bit slower than Kayard, but they've got the left side of the course, which Peter likes.
America cubed on starboard tack, the wind coming over the right side of the boat. El Moro di Venezia, the Challenger ITA 25 on port tack, wind over the left side of the boat. So they start out on split tacks, 3 1/4 nautical miles up to that top mark. Race 5 of the 1992 America's Cup. The Cubans can close it out in less than 3 hours. .25 El Moro di Venezia. Starboard tack. Wind again coming from the right side. First cross coming maybe, Peter?
It is the first cross. Cube holds the commanding lead for this early in the race.
Kayard to the screen has the right of way, so America Cube either has to tack to stay clear or go for a cross. And it's going to be difficult to make that cross. She'll go for a lee side tack attacking to leeward and ahead of American Cube of Vilmoro if she can't make it.
I think she's clear.
America Cube could have continued, but they chose to tack, forcing Kayard to the right side.
Good call, Peter, about that left side of the course. Obviously, wants to stay there.
Once it's working for you, keep working on it. They can turn a slim lead into a big one if the wind continues to favor that side.
I like the fact that Kayard tacked, though, even though he was behind. If it's time here on port tack, he'll come back as soon as he can.
We've already got it right here, Rob.
Our race conditions, course heading 275, west-northwesterly, 11 knots. So the breeze is up. The forecast only called to reach 9. Seas are lumpy.
Wait for the puff?
Kayard asking Enrico and Tommaso Chieffi, do you want to wait for the puff before they tack?
Go, guys.
Well, I like the way the tube goes through these waves. Very little effect on the boat at all. Kayard, when you see him from time to time forward when he's steering, it's like he's willing the boat forward. See that kind of lean forward. That's come on, boat. Let's go. Let's get this thing going.
But he's got room to get by on the left. Okay. And Kayard narrowed the margin.
What that means, either El Moro's going a little bit faster, or perhaps the right side of the course is better.
Peter, where's the wind to your eye?
Right, there was a small wind shift to the right, favoring El Moro that was on the right in that last exchange. Of course, the boats only separated that last time for about 45 seconds, and they came back together. Not a lot of leverage, not a lot of separation going on here. Neither team wants to risk a big wind shift deciding this race.
Our ESPN sail track, courtesy of Trimble Navigation and Silicon Graphics, not a cartoon. Computers actually sending the information, GPS satellites off from the boats back to shore, and this is exactly what's happened so far in the tacking duel.
American Cube making a good move, attacking the cover. I think another gamble that El Moro is making is going with their carbon fiber main, which historically has worked well under 10 knots of breeze, but not quite as strong when the wind is over 10.
Right now, El Moro is actually going at 9 knots, a full knot faster than America Cube.
He seems to accelerate a little faster coming out of these tacks. American Cube still crossing. Interesting, American Cube wants the right side of the course. They don't like how
Attacking in front of a bow, possibly.
to your eye, do they look directly downwind of the mark, Peter?
What? No, it appears like there's longer starboard tack than port tack. There's a
Attack down.
Here the two boats are going upwind. America Cube is the blue boat here, and they're on, the wind is coming from this direction. They're on the left side of the course now, so America Cube wants to drag it into the middle of the course so they keep their attacking duel going. But I'm surprised they're letting El Moro go this far and keep splitting. El Moro now attacking the cover from behind.
Sounded very surprised.
Oh, yeah, because when you're behind and you're splitting, maybe you want to go and get a little bit more leverage. But Kayard must be confident in his speed to make this move.
The start was dead even. The first leg, the tacking duel continues. First mark, hey, could be the crucial first mark. Welcome back live to the Pacific. What a race we've got going in this first beat to windward. 3 1/4 nautical miles. The white boat, the defending boat for the San Diego Yacht Club. The men of USA 23 America Cube. And the men of Omoro di Venezia. Throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Buddy Melgus, who took over the wheel after a dead even start between Kayard and Dave Dellenbaugh.
Right now, America Cube on the left enjoying about a 2.5 to 3 boat length lead. They're doing a nice job playing the shifting breezes going upwind and keeping a loose cover. Here they come covering again.
What they're trying to do here is to push Kayard out towards the left side of the course. They don't want the action to get back in the center where a tacking duel could ensue.
Kayard makes a good move, tacking right away on the port tack to get into the center.
Yeah, we did make a little gainer, guys. Nice. Nice, guys. Quello è il problema.
Now, when you're on the left side of the course like this, Kayard has to minimize his time on starboard tack, so he'll be coming back soon.
Like there's more pressure here than over there.
Well, you hear a lot of terms, header, a wind shift that brings the wind direction closer to your bow, wind shift, a lefty, a righty, Gary?
Well, Jim, as we go up the sail ladder here, you'll notice that the wind is coming directly downwind to the course. But if the wind shifts to the left side of the course, the boat on the left ends up gaining. And so when the two boats come together, because the wind has gone in that direction, now able to cross by about 4 or 5 boat lengths. So you're always trying to sail on the side of the course where the wind is going to. A left shift right now would be helpful to Paul Kayard.
We have yet to have a lead change in any of the 4 previous America's Cup races. Races 1, 3, and 4, wire to wire for America Cube. Race 2, Italy in front at every mark.
Okay, andiamo.
You'll notice here, Jim, is that when we go on board the grinders, these are the men turning the handles. They're connected to a gear housing system under the deck to those round winches. You put a rope around the winch and trim the sail in. Notice that they're always trimming these winches, and that's because it takes a long time to accelerate speed. While you're trying to accelerate, you let the sails out, rounding the shape of the sail. Then as the boat gets up to speed, taking about 30 seconds to do it, they slowly trim those sails in.
11.5 cosa significa? 11 e 5 minuti.
Four wire-to-wire wins so far. Whoever gets ahead at the top mark, they have continued on. In El Moro, they were only 3 seconds faster than America Cubed in race number 2. Right now, this beat to windward, faster on 7 of the 8 downwind legs. That's where we'll be going after we hit the top mark.
And as we continue upwind, America Cube continues to stretch the lead, about 4 boat length lead now.
Buddy Melgus and Andreas Josenhans, the mainsail trimmer, really working well together lately and seem to have gotten America Cube hooked up. This boat seems very tricky to sail. Sometimes it appears average, but when it gets going, look out. They're going fast right now.
There's our course map. Peter and Gary, 3 1/4 nautical miles to windward, then on the run with the spinnakers and jennakers out, then the Z leg, then the button hook turn, and legs 7 and 8. That could decide this America's Cup. Andreas Josenhans on the extreme right-hand side working the main. Mike Topa there in the foul weather gear. He's the starboard trimmer in the blue and white vest. And the grinders for America Cube today, Rick Brent, Brock Ferrigno, John Huffnagel, and Larry Myalik back on board. Rick Brent's father, Dr. Richard Dent. Brent flew back to East Lyme, Connecticut. They're back watching in the operation room today, back in the hospital. Said ESPN's the only channel on in the emergency room. Doctor's orders.
Looking at the boats here, America Cube on the left sailing a little closer to the wind.
Over about a boat length.
Mike Topa trimming there, doing a nice job.
2.6.
Mike was with Eagle with Rod Davis back in '87. A boat was so slow they called it Beagle.
And Mike also sailed with us aboard Defender in 1983. Mike was the sail trimmer on the port side of the boat, and Paul Caird was the trimmer on the starboard side.
The other trimmers, Stu Argo, wrestler out of Michigan State. Andreas Josenhans works for North Sails. You know, Eagle's record back in '87, 10 victories and 24 defeats. It was so slow the one time Tom Blackaller yelled, "Get that dog off the race course."
A little lower and slower. I mean, a little lower and faster.
Bill Cope using his laser gun and sends out a light beam at the other boat. It hits the other boat and bounces back into that machine. You can tell distance within 1 foot how far away you are, so you can tell whether you're gaining or whether you're losing.
You know, I got a chance to use that machine. I went out with the boys from American Cube yesterday, and it's an interesting device. They say you can bounce it off the signal, off the sail, off the hull, anything. It's very easy to work. Pull the trigger, and it gives you the instantaneous range.
Still going to windward, up toward that top mark.
Long port tack here. They're almost in the center of the course now, and they look to be about 65% or 2/3 of the way to that first mark.
Tacks for America Cube, 12 for the Italians so far. So as Bill Cope keeps his gun aimed at the red boat, Paul Caird trying to play catch-up with a tacking duel. We continue to the top mark. Two-thirds of the way plus up this first beat to windward. The red-hulled boat, Elmoro di Venezia. The white-hulled boat, the defending boat, USA 23. Caird has sailed Peter Eisler a terrific first leg.
He has. He's done a good job on this long port tack, closing up to America Cube on a straight line sailing. Now finally downwind of the mark. Here comes the tacking duel again.
And it looks like Elmoro about only 2 boat lengths behind, so Caird's really done a nice job here. Perfectly positioned for a tacking duel since they're straight downwind of the mark.
The trick for Caird is to somehow minimize the disadvantage of being behind here, because as they approach one of the other ley lines, he's in danger of having to make 2 extra tacks or sail extra distance. But right now, he's thinking to close with tacking.
We have talked about America Cube being faster on 8 of the 12 upwind legs. Look at the condition. USA 23, 10 to 14 knots, seas 3 feet. The margin, 30 seconds. Italy, when the breeze has been between 8 and 10, they eked out a 3-second win, the closest win in the history of the America's Cup. When the breeze has been in excess of 10, A3 has romped.
What's the wind speed from your position, Peter?
Gary, it's picked up maybe slightly since the start, between 11 and 12 knots. Very good velocity. Hard to believe this is the same ocean that Dennis Conner won a few races in, when it was smooth water and light winds.
Peter, to your eye, how's that patch that Jerry Kirby did a little repair work on holding up?
From our side right here, Jim, looks like he gets an A+ for his repair. Of course, Gary pointed out it's in a low load area, very similar to the same spot where El Moro had that rip the other day, and the same reason the running backstay wires whacked it and just put a small tear in it.
As we look at the two boats, it seems like America Cube just sails a little bit closer to the wind.
Word from the Cuban camp that they had mast ram failure on board A3. They took an extra runner on the boat and lashed the mast up into position.
Well, the mast ram moves the mast forward and aft at the deck, and you adjust the balance of the boat, which affects your steering. Often you change that balance when you're going downwind. They might not like where the mast is right now, and that may be why KR's only, look at this, Jim, 40 feet behind.
Just a terrific tacking duel on this first beat to windward, and Kayard has been matching Buddy.
I think America Cube making a good move here, getting to the right, so they have the starboard advantage as they get closer to the mark.
Three and a half minutes to that top mark. There's the tacking duel.
I love the way you can see how the boats got themselves on the right side of the course, on the right side of the screen there, and then KR that long port tack to get things centered up.
Kayard really needs to keep it close, if in fact not take the lead at the top mark. Again, no passing lanes. We have not seen a lead change yet, and A3 fast run 7 of the 8 downwind legs. Look how close they've come.
KR tacking away. Now, the first part of the game here is to get close. The second is to minimize loss. So you don't want to be too far behind at the mark.
Right now, Kayard getting just what he wants. Clear wind separation. They're going in opposite directions here. He'd love for American Cube to continue all the way up to the ley line. Let's see what Dellenbaugh does.
Where are we on the course?
There's the top mark. They've gone 3 1/4 nautical miles after a dead even start. Started out on split tacks.
I think this gamble by El Moro using that carbon fiber painful seems to be working.
16 straight marks. Peter Eisler knows a thing or two about leading at the marks. USA Stars and Stripes, US 55 back in Fremantle, never trailed at any mark when they waxed the Kookaburras 4-0.
This is a much closer series than the one we had against the Cooks, Jim. In fact, the closest series in America's Cup history so far, if you look at the time margins.
The Cougs never won a race.
KR coming back here. It looks to our eye as though he may have to duck behind. Nice game for El Moro.
Now the duck, it'll be an opportunity for American Cube to do the slam dunk maneuver, which Paul Kayard made so successfully in the second race.
Slam dunk is also a maneuver that was coined by Dennis Cotter back in 1980. He was the first to use the phrase slam dunk, borrowed it from basketball.
Flag on that one, Peter?
All Gary. No protest. Yes, there it goes. Hopkins just put it up.
Robert Hopkins waving the protest flag again on the water, judging being used for the first time in the America's Cup here in 1992. So we'll get either a green flag, which means no foul. These are different judges, by the way, than judge the Louis Vuitton.
Like they radio to each other before they make a decision to get different viewpoints. I think that was the right call.
Ley line. Stand on the start. Here we go, guys. Stand on start.
Pressure on Bob Baldridge, navigator from American Cube, to pick the ley line from as far away as they are, so they don't sail any extra distance.
And Peter, as we look at the mark there, the current setting the boat to the right. right, it looks like about at least a half a knot, the current on that buoy.
So far, 20 tacks for America Cube, 20 tacks for the Italians. And the best first leg we've seen so far.